duo in the SEC and really all of college basketball. And Michael Qualls has been battling some injury issues as of late. Told me before the tip tonight that he's at about 90%. He said that's about 10% better than he was even a week ago.
So a little closer to having yet another Sports Center top 10 play.
He was looking forward to whatever you might deliver on a dunk tonight.
Oh, he's one of the best athletes in all of college basketball. There's one of the best interior men. Bobby Portis, 6'11" sophomore from Little Rock, who's second in the SEC at 17.5 points per game. Hogs and Gamecocks here from Columbia, ready to tip. Ty Johnson, who's bringing it up, coming off a career-high 28 points in that game against Mississippi State.
And senior night, it's sometimes an emotional night for some seniors, and Ty Johnson needs to make sure he controls himself. Here we go.
And here goes Qualls. And he lays it in off the turnover.
That's disappointing.
They got a little spring in that step.
But that's exactly what Arkansas obviously wants to do. They want to create turnovers and easy runouts. They forced the Gamecocks into 20 turnovers in their meeting earlier this season in Fayetteville.
Thornwell through the lane, and the runner goes.
I really like Thornwell, and I think his future is very bright here at South Carolina. They're adding some important pieces next year in their recruiting class. But he is a guy that certainly is a difference maker.
There's Portis showing you that range. That's a 2. Such a well-rounded big man, so capable in so many ways. Notice against Harris here. As they look to get it inside to Carrera. And they quickly double Carrera. To the inside to Thornwell, who goes up but couldn't finish. Rebound Portis. Here's Madden now. Gives way to a wide open Portis. And he has started with a hot hand tonight.
Well, I'll just tell you this. You don't want to help off of Bobby Portis. So you've got to adjust defensively. And that time, poor communication for South Carolina led to a wide open jump shot from one of the best scorers in the conference. This time of year, Tess, it is really about gaining momentum, especially for a team like Arkansas, into next week and then beyond when you're looking at the NCAA tournament.
Kokevicius turns it over. Portis ahead to Qualls. Watch out, Farnham. Good finish by Qualls.
He had a little flash on that. And he put the hand behind the back of the head and then laid it up.
Up ahead. Carrera. And he's fouled.
Well, turnovers leading to offense for Arkansas in the early stages of this game have been huge. And, of course, when you think about the system that Coach Anderson implied, that's one of the biggest strengths of their system, creating and manufacturing scoring through their defense. They want to play the fastest 40, but they do want to get up and down the floor. They want to get deflections. They want to be active. And they've done that in the early stages of this game.
Foul on Alondis Harris. As Carrera misses the first. So cutting Harris, but a turnover. And Ty Johnson, 7 of 10 shooting against Mississippi State, and hits the long ball here.
What I loved about that is he got to the spot on the floor where he wanted to be. His feet were set, able to finish.
Portis with the take, and he draws the foul. Frank Martin's 3rd season here at South Carolina. He has so much respect for Arkansas. So if you look at that resume, if you put an ACC brand on it, they'd be thought of much differently.
You know, one of the things you talk about Coach Martin and this program and the rebuild process that has continued to develop this season, obviously a lot of positive steps for South Carolina, in particular when you go back to their non-conference schedule, wins, dominating performances against Oklahoma State, a neutral site victory against Iowa State. Next year, they're finally going to have some experience, some upperclassmen that have played here for multiple years. And add that with the top 20 recruiting class, and I think you can see that this program is trending in the right direction.
No doubt about that. Johnson, runner through the lane, rattles out into the hands of Rashad Madden. Here goes Madden. He was trying to get it crossed over to Qualls. Instead, it would deflect it away. Stroman now out to Johnson.
Good closeout by Madden.
Carrera. And Madden again comes up with it. Portis back to the basket. Side rim that time. And Portis was right on top of Carrera. That's right.
That basket should count.
No doubt about it, right?
Because you cannot determine whether or not that basket had a chance
of going in
because Portis was hanging on the rim. They should score that basket.
Watch Portis get a hold of this rim. So who's to say how it would have affected the shot by Carrera?
He's on the rim before the shot is even released. I think Frank Martin's got a legitimate argument on that one. Again, Portis is on the rim. Watch this. Portis is on the rim prior to the shot even going up. So how can you say definitively that him hanging on the rim didn't change or alter the way that ball came off the backboard?
Harris spinning his way into the lane, gets it back out to Madden. Off the screen, and a good dish to Harris on the inside.
Harris using that upper body strength. Beautiful touch pass from Madden on the outside as he rolled to the rim. Able to absorb contact and finish through.
Johnson. Weak side rebound tapped out, but into the hands of Madden. Harris, 17-footer. Money.
And that's textbook Arkansas basketball right there. They got the rebound, immediately pushed it up the floor, looking to probe and attack before the defense can set up.
Chennis now. Nice job that time of working off it by Michael Carrera.
And Carrera,
he's got 5.
Came rubbing off, and the defense didn't properly communicate.
Turnover there as Portis travels. When we come back, we're going to size up the SEC tournament and what this game means for Arkansas.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2015 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award, and the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event. Now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer.
The first ever RC Coupe from Lexus. Lease the 2015 RC 350 for $449 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
Life changes. A small business's life is no different. That's why we designed the Constant Contact Toolkit to evolve with your business, month to month, year to year. So whether it's a social media campaign to connect with fans and customers, or an email newsletter to kick off a big sale, you'll get all the online tools and free marketing advice you need to meet your goals, no matter how much things change. Help your small business do more business. Try our toolkit free at ConstantContact.com.
Chase Freedom. The card is for the essentials. The cash back is for the fun. Chase, so you can.
Virginia Louisville at 6:30, then Duke North Carolina at 9, Saturday on ESPN.
Arkansas 6 of 7 shooting, early a 13-10 lead. Joe and Sean with you here. For Arkansas, a chance to secure the #2 spot for the SEC tournament. Significant because then you don't see Kentucky into the finals. If it was to happen today, let's look at the projected brackets.
And I think the brackets are going to prove out what we've seen all season long in the SEC. Ultra competitive and still some movement potentially to be had. LSU has a huge game in Fayetteville on Saturday against Arkansas. Could move Georgia potentially up to that 5. LSU could then fall down to the 6. Obviously, teams trying to avoid Kentucky until the finals and gain that momentum getting to the NCAA tournament. But you can't look past anybody. Think about Vandy right now. Out of the last 9 games, they've won 7 of them. Kevin Stallings' young team is starting to hit their stride a little bit.
They are a great example of the great axiom in sports that teams don't stay the same. And especially when you're young, you got the potential for a surge of upside, such is the case with Vandy. Mentioned Arkansas 6 of 7, South Carolina 3 of 7. They're the worst shooting team in the SEC, shooting just 40%.
And they struggled. They struggled in Fayetteville, shooting just 28% from the floor overall.
And
now
notice can't connect.
They do score better here at home. Great cut.
Qualls unable to finish though.
And that was because his base was off. His balance was leaning. He didn't go straight up. He could have used soft touch off the glass.
Here's Thornwell.
The slower this game is played at tempo-wise, the more it will favor South Carolina. Obviously, Arkansas is a tempo-created team. That's why I think they'll be so difficult in the NCAA tournament.
Portis with the duck under, but it didn't go his way.
Let me further that point. In the NCAA tournament, in the SEC, everybody's kind of familiar with this style. They know how you play. You get in the NCAA tournament, if Arkansas is to win an opening round game, it's a very short window for a team to have to prepare for Coach Anderson's system.
Yeah, that fast and furious, turnover forcing,
pressuring all over the floor. I think it's a great advantage for Arkansas. And you look at the percentage of points per 100 possessions, second in the SEC to only Kentucky. You know, some people point out, by the way, that the loss at Kentucky, and go start questioning Arkansas. There's a lot of teams, by the way, that have lost to Kentucky this year that are pretty darn good.
How about Rashad Madden?
Some of them on a neutral floor. Kansas, their tournament team projected to be a 2 seed. UCLA, North Carolina.
And notice with the extra effort.
You want me to keep running off their whole schedule or just say everybody they've played?
Point is made, and the point is that this is a team that could be very dangerous come March. Here's Bell, and he puts it home. So a 7-point lead on the road for the Hogs as Bell came in and fouls Johnson.
That floor spacing, passing, all part of Coach Anderson and what Arkansas wants to do. And you see the drive, the relocation, hands ready, feet ready. So on the catch, it's a quick release.
Johnson pushes it ahead past the pressure. Inside. Kachinis was denied. As Kingsley got rid of it. Here's Williams now. Back rim the 18-footer. Rebound by Watkins. Good angle by Watkins as he pushed it off the glass.
And Tess, this is the depth of Arkansas. You know, Watkins, the minutes, look at him defensively.
And here he is defensively. And here come the Hogs. And stripped away at the last moment that time by Mackey. Up ahead. And turned right back over.
Well, defensively, Arkansas just swarms the paint. So even when you have a good high-low entry pass, you think you're past 2 defensive players, nobody else is going to slide over. Somebody is there to fill the gap. And that's good team defensive philosophies by the Razorbacks.
6'10" Moses Kingsley. Kept with the Hogs here. Bell again.
And that's a
2 3-pointers.
You don't usually like to take timeouts when you're already in a media break zone, but Frank Martin knows his team needs it as Arkansas is on a roll.
Hello there. Isn't it wonderful? 5-Hour Energy's taste is new and improved. Every flavor. Berry, orange, pomegranate, pink lemonade, grape, citrus, lime, plus extra strength flavors like new strawberry watermelon. Another satisfied customer. New improved taste, 10 great flavors. Have you tried 5-Hour Energy lately?
You know, one of the big storylines for Arkansas this year has been their effort on the road, the success they've had. 12-point lead here at South Carolina, Sean.
Well, I think you'd look at the first 3 seasons. It was 5-21. This past season, the current season right now, 5-3 on the road. Their points per game are up. Their efficiency is up. And that was the big question mark for Arkansas. In order to take the step that they've taken, to be the second-place team in this conference this season, they needed to prove they could win on the road, and that started right away in Athens, Georgia.
Fouls on Bell. Arkansas on a 15-4 run, 8-0 in the last minute and a half. Short break. We'll be right back to South Carolina.
They call these sandwiches? This is a sandwich. The new Subway Turkey Italiano melt. Tender turkey breast, Genoa salami, pepperoni, provolone, and that tangy new Subway vinaigrette. The new Turkey Italiano melt. Only at Subway.
I found an apartment
right on the water.
Amazing views.
It was perfect.
This is the place.
There's just one little problem.
It's got everything.
I barely get a signal, so I can't download videos or stream music.
I don't have that problem. I'm on Verizon.
I'm not. Sometimes I get a signal if I hold my shower curtain rod with one hand, but not always.
Join us and save without settling on the largest, most reliable network.
While others go in circles and repeat themselves, we choose to carve our own path in the pursuit of exhilaration. The 306 horsepower Lexus GS. Experience the next level of performance, and there's no going back.
They call these sandwiches? This is a sandwich. The new Subway Turkey Italiano melt. Tender turkey breast, Genoa salami, pepperoni, provolone, and that tangy new Subway vinaigrette. The new Turkey Italiano melt. Only at Subway.
In Arkansas's win against South Carolina back at the start of February, they forced 20 turnovers. It's a key component early on here.
Well, it's not just forcing those turnovers, but able to convert off of those turnovers. The 4 turnovers that South Carolina has led to 7 points for Arkansas. So it allows their offense to get in a rhythm and get this game sped up the way that they like. Then you add into the effect that Arkansas overall right now is shooting 67% from the field and a perfect 100% from beyond the arc. Bell 2 for 2, Madden 1 for 1 beyond the arc, and to me, I think that's the story of Arkansas. Can they dictate the tempo? Can they dictate the flow? And can they rebound the basketball? Because that's where they struggled when I was in Fayetteville against Texas A&M in that second half, and it was a huge concern of mine. It's those small areas you want to kind of clean up, and Arkansas right now is focused on one of them, and that's rebounding the basketball.
See the success they've had. As Carrera is fouled going up there. Arkansas 3 for 3 on threes, 10 of 15 from the floor. Gamecocks just 4 of 12 overall.
Carrera really broke out a season ago. I mean, he's one of those guys who was named freshman All-SEC freshman team, then as a sophomore got back even better, a strong rebounder, an energy player, and you've seen that tonight. He's been strong underneath against Arkansas.
Young man from Venezuela. As the three-point shooting continues for Arkansas. That's 3 now for Bell.
zone defense by Arkansas.
They work it around Johnson. Another turnover. Here comes Watkins. And right back into the hands of Johnson.
That was a poor pass.
Stroman. He's able to finish.
A couple of times in transition. Arkansas hasn't jump stopped and delivered a good, strong pass, and they've turned it over and given opportunities to South Carolina. South Carolina that time able to capitalize.
Spin by Williams. And a nice effort.
You think about this run Arkansas is going on. The dynamic duo of Portis and Qualls have been on the bench. It's been the depth of Arkansas that has helped extend out this lead and pull this thing away a little bit.
They got them started, but it's been the three-point shooting of Bell, transition play, steady effort from the bench players to give them a 14-point lead here. They're plus 11 in bench scoring. Well, tomorrow night at 7:30, NBA Countdown. We'll get you started with a doubleheader at 8. You got Suns Nets then at 10:30. Always fun to see the Warriors. Mavs Warriors at 10:30.
You see Steph Curry last night? He was
so entertaining.
It was soapy. It was clean, as you would say.
It was. He's permanently soapy, Farnham.
He released a three-point shot and turned around before the ball even went through the rim and started walking in the opposite direction. That's how in a rhythm he is. Of course, Draymond Green also playing extremely well right now for the Warriors.
There's Williams again with the left hand in the paint, and he has 4. And a timeout called by Carolina and Frank Martin.
That's his second timeout that Frank Martin has called, and it's a big part of that has been the rhythm and flow that Arkansas has gotten into offensively. They are basically choosing where they want to shoot the ball on the floor, and I think that to me is why Frank Martin is so upset right now. And if you're Coach Anderson, you're more than pleased with the attention to detail, and you kind of had a sense today at shoot-around just how much in rhythm and flow Arkansas, business-like trip. This is a business trip for the Razorbacks. While the conference is looking at potentially 6 teams getting into the NCAA tournament, it's Arkansas that's trying to continue to strengthen their resume and send positive messages to the selection committee.
Boy, LSU didn't serve themselves well last night, speaking of that.
I was there. No, they did not. And they have put themselves firmly on the bubble. A lack of effort last night out of LSU. Terrell Martin admitted as much today. And their focus wasn't there where it needed to be. Their effort wasn't where it needed to be. And now they have to travel to Fayetteville and try to get a road victory. And Bud Walton is a very difficult place to find wins.
Kaichenis helps the cause a little bit. Arkansas had pushed it to 16. That was their largest lead.
And the thing is, when you play Arkansas style of basketball, you're going to give up those shots from time to time. And you, as a coach, you have to be willing to give up transition looks, high percentage looks like South Carolina got that last trip down.
Durham got tangled up on the baseline. And this will go with South Carolina.
And the bench did its part. And Coach Anderson will bring back in the starters. Portis, Qualls, Madden, and Beard all back out on the floor.
15-4 bench scoring edge for the Hogs. And now the 2 big scoring stars return. Portis and Qualls have combined for 30-plus points 18 times this year. We told you 5 times 40-plus combined points. Here's Carrera. And a long rebound tapped out by Notice, who gathers it. Johnson for 3.
Good shot by Johnson, but that play was all predicated upon Notice and his effort on the glass. He stuck with it, secured the ball, and set up his teammate.
Qualls. Elevated, got the shot off, wouldn't finish. Portis does.
Do you know what a brilliant play that was by Madden? That was not a shot attempt. He knew exactly where Bobby Portis was and just tapped it to him. That's great awareness of where your teammate is and setting the table up.
Madden has 4.7 assists per game. That's second in the SEC. Here goes Qualls. Will he lock it up, Farnham? Yes!
Out in transition. One of the elite elevators in all of the game. And again, it's the aggressiveness of defense that leads to the run out, sets it up, takes the foul, able to finish through contact and a little flex of his muscle.
And as you saw the swipe by Thornwell.
You know, he's been banged up. He turned his ankle a little bit against Texas A&M. His left knee has been bothering him. They kind of started a little bit of cutting back some minutes at practice, trying to get him back. Now he's kind of one of those guys that just keeps playing hard and doesn't want to back down at any point in time. And he just thinks he's getting back to where he wants to be and thinks that he'll be at 100% by the time we get to Nashville next week. Nashville's going to be electric.
Good tournament that's going to be. Looking forward to listening to you.
Can't believe you're having off time. I thought that wasn't allowed.
Is that possible?
No, I don't think so.
Here's Notice.
In the last 4 games, averaging close to 15 points per game for Notice.
Qualls was getting after it, but it'll be with the Gamecocks.
Well, we talk about the fastest 40 minutes. What does it mean? It means you sometimes have to take risks. And when you take risks, sometimes you get those rewards. Michael Qualls, he gets the bench on their feet.
The Lexus Command Performance Sales Event has begun. Command track-tested precision with the fastest-growing automotive luxury brand on the road, including the exhilarating IS, powerful GS, and first-ever RC Coupe. With more new models than ever, there's never been a better time to experience Lexus performance during the Command Performance Sales Event. Get great offers on our most dynamic models now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer.
I'm type E. I know what my money is doing. I rebalanced my portfolio on my phone. You know what else I can do on my phone? Place trades, get free real-time quotes, and teleport myself to Aruba. I wish.
Pizza is perfect. Pizza with bacon cheeseburger on it, way, way more perfect.
The new Bacon Cheeseburger Pizza with hickory smoked bacon, beef, dill pickle, and signature burger sauce. A large for just $12.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John.
Huh. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that former pro football player Ickey Woods will celebrate almost anything?
Number 44.
Woo! 44, that's me!
Get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts.
Woo! Give me some!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
44, ladies, that's me! Woo! Gonna get some cold cuts today.
Coming soon to DirecTV Cinema.
No one else can do this but her.
She can't handle it.
I want to go. And if you're killed, make sure you get it on camera.
Show them what it costs to be friends with Katniss Everdeen.
President Snow, if we burn, you burn with us!
Movies start at Channel 125.
Chris Cotter in Bristol. Want to update you on the game going on over on ESPN. It's Wisconsin and Minnesota, and Frank the Tank, beautiful ball fake there. He hits the jumper to go. Then in the lane, hard driving for 2. By the way, 15 finals for the Wooden Award will be announced Saturday on game day. It's all Wisconsin early. Meanwhile, on ESPNU, we had a 24-minute lighting delay at East Carolina, and Temple on the bubble, trailing by 8 at ECU. Joe, Barney?
Thank you, Chris. Kaminsky and the boys having their way tonight. Lenardi's got them top of that list of 2 seeds, Farnham.
I'll tell you what, Wisconsin to me is one of those teams that if you're a 1, you don't want them anywhere near you.
By the way, a couple of those 1 seeds you saw listed will be center stage on ESPN Saturday night. You got Virginia, Louisville, and Duke, UNC, and ACC center stage Saturday night.
2 great teams when you think about Virginia and you think about Duke. Look out. Active hands.
Guy behind you.
I mean, I caught 2 of those last night. I'll be honest, my hands were not ready on that one. I should have protected you. That's my fault, sir. I apologize. I'm apologizing to the guy behind me. He seems very nice. I was more concerned about your health.
Oh, no, you're a good partner. Appreciate that. There's Harris. Gives way to Madden.
Think about this now. There's 8 turnovers for South Carolina.
Portis rattles it in. Another 3 for Arkansas. Portis has 10.
Here's another steal.
5 of 7 on 3-pointers. As Madden gets it to Portis, goes baseline. And the foul, the big man. Bobby Portis has 12 already.
How impressive has Arkansas been here in the first half? Their defense has completely disrupted South Carolina. Again, this is predicated upon a steal and then floor spacing and allowing one of the best players in the SEC go to work. Bobby Portis' game has improved so much from where it was a season ago. We've documented the fact that he's put on more weight. He went to the LeBron James Skills Academy over the summer. He said he needed to learn how to become more physical as a player. But his carryover test has just blown me away in his growth and maturity over the course of this season to blossom into the player that he's become.
2 fouls on Pekevicius.
And Madden's limping a little bit.
You can see him wincing.
I think he cut, and we'd have to go back and look, but it looked like his ankle kind of turned just ever so slightly. That's an easy call.
Now 10 turnovers. South Carolina. Here's Madden through the lane as he draws the foul.
Again,
good active look that time with Portis and Madden.
Here's what starts that, though. You get the ball in quick. You immediately throw it ahead. You flatten out the defense. South Carolina's not anticipating that. They're standing straight up and down, flat-footed. And then Madden just cuts off a Portis and creates an opportunity to get to the free throw line.
You know, remember what Frank Martin said earlier today? He said, you know, first time we played them, we got suckered into doing things the way they want to do things. In other words, playing at Arkansas's pace on their terms. That's been the case so far in this first half. 4 turnovers the last 5 trips for South Carolina.
Also important, though, to note that Arkansas had a similar first half at home against Texas A&M, and then they started getting beat on the glass in the second half. So we'll see if there's growth for Arkansas. That growth will show in their level of effort and level of intensity as this game continues to go on. That's an illegal screen as well. Joe DeRosa all over that one.
Tony Green, James Breeding, and DeRosa are officials tonight. Point hole here at home. Ty Johnson cuts into it just a bit.
Good job by Ty Johnson.
It's 2 on Madden.
Good floor spacing this time on balance. Qualls is behind him. Feels confident go through the contact of Madden. You see Qualls got caught up trailing in that situation as he came off the baseline screen, and then Madden was forced to step over and reached in. Johnson, the transfer from Villanova. You talk about experience as a senior, but he really hasn't had all that much experience after having to sit out a year and then had a foot injury that sidelined him a majority of the season. They had that injury against A&M last year. And this year, though, much more consistent presence and have been a vital part to their success. Part of that's managing the offense, not turning the ball over.
Carrera, how about it?
And frustration now on the side of Arkansas. So after a Johnson-made basket, you get a stop defensively, you run the floor, and Carrera, who I mentioned, was the energy guy for this team and has been playing well primarily all season long. A good acceleration up into the rim, a very good athlete.
Fiery, emotional player for South Carolina. You know, he comes from Venezuela. His mom comes and visits once a year. She's here right now. So he's got reason to play inspired and hustle out there.
We'll see if the energy can maintain here over the final 5 minutes of this first half. I think that's what it comes down to is passion and energy. Can you meet the intensity of your opponent? Arkansas has brought it for the first 15 minutes of this game. The last minute and a half or so, you start to see South Carolina. They're starting to breathe a little bit. They're starting to play their style of basketball and execute. Got to communicate defensively there. A little bit of a breakdown.
Into Harris, and he was bottled up. And possession will stay with Arkansas.
And Tess, do you notice the difference, though, in South Carolina?
No doubt.
And they're starting to play with the intensity and the passion that you come to expect. And Carrera, no surprise, is right in the middle of it.
Front rim from Beard. Johnson trying to take Qualls. That was Carrera getting tangled up on the inside with Harris.
And they're going to call double foul underneath as they were fighting for position. But a nice job by Johnson. Once again, executing in their half-court set. South Carolina moving the ball, forcing Arkansas to defend side to side. And Johnson able to create as an isolation on the right-hand side, and you saw them get tangled up underneath and a double foul call.
Qualls. 18-footer won't drop for him. Into the hands of Kachinas. So a little surge by South Carolina.
Thanks to the true fans of the Bell. And thanks to the Sriracha Maniacs.
I got it.
Without all of you, we never would have thought of this. The new Sriracha Quesarito. Layers of our insanely good Sriracha sauce in the Quesarito you love. Only at Taco Bell.
The Constant Contact Toolkit gives you all the best online marketing tools for connecting with customers, like email newsletters and social media campaigns. It's everything you need to help your small business do more business. Try it free at ConstantContact.com.
Chase Freedom. The card is for the essentials. The cash back is for the fun. Chase, so you can.
For fans of redefining, reimagining, and repeating greatness, this is your game. The NBA Sunday Showcase. Bulls Spurs at 1, Clippers Warriors at 3:30, Sunday on ABC.
Chris Cotter in studio. Land Rover Halftime Report coming up. Jeff Goodman will give us an update on Justin Anderson, the Virginia guard. Underwent an emergency appendectomy earlier today. And what's next for Kentucky, now 30-0, as they look to end the regular season perfect. Also highlights the 6th-ranked Wisconsin in action right now over on ESPN. Joe, Sean?
All right, Chris, of course, Kentucky will be hosting Florida come this Saturday. And the win streak mark, you see what's ahead of them.
It's been a remarkable season for Kentucky and the way that they have handled everybody's best punch. And you go back to that game on Tuesday, Coach Fox and Georgia had a great game plan. They executed it. They looked like they had some control of that game, but just as Kentucky did at LSU, they turned the water off at the offensive end of the floor for their opponent, and then they pushed up full throttle on their offense, and they pulled away down the stretch.
It's great energy there in Athens for that one.
Bill Belichick, Charles Barkley.
And Chinnis at the line. One of the 2 Lithuanians play a key role here for South Carolina.
Well, and I think that you look at what South Carolina's been able to do here. We mentioned that last 5-minute stretch, what they want to do. And they are starting to outscore Arkansas. They're executing a little bit better. And you're starting to see them kind of change the tempo, change the pace of this game. It's up for Arkansas to make the adjustment now. Notice with a great steal that they're playing the passing lane.
Notice comes through and earns the whistle.
Inside the line, deep in the paint, and it earns Notice a trip to the free throw line. You mentioned Notice over the last 4 games tests averaging about 15 points per contest. He struggled against Arkansas in their first meeting. Just 2 of 10 from the field. Had 4 turnovers in that game. He's done better already.
You mentioned the work Portis did in the offseason of adding the weight. Notice dropped 20 pounds. Want to be faster, better conditioned. And cut it to 10 here. Lead had gotten to 20 for the Hogs. Oh, how about Qualls? I mean, grab your scaffolding and climb it.
Where's your ladder, Tess? I love when he elevates up. Reese Davis said he's the best dunker in college basketball. Mentioned that on game day a couple weeks back. There's plenty of video evidence to support that. Arkansas fans smile when they see that because they also know that means that his legs are starting to feel a little bit better.
Stroman took it strong. Foul on Williams.
Gallardo, give it to me one more time. Our outstanding producer that we've had all season long here on Thursday nights. Watch this. Qualls loses it, gets it back, take one step and finish with authority. You think you're making a great hustle play, but at the end of the day, Qualls will get up in the iron and make you pay. What a great crew we've had all Thursday night. This is our final Thursday night game of the season. Obviously next week.
Had a lot of fun this year.
We'll be in Nashville.
Bell had the hot hand earlier. That time couldn't connect. Right into the hands of Stroman.
Not as many deflections. They've done a nice job not turning the ball over to those live ball steals.
Tried to get it to a cutting Stroman.
But that if you're going to have a turnover, that's not a bad one to have because it becomes a dead ball turnover.
Saturday Showcase is presented by 5 Hour Energy at noon. We got Michigan State and Indiana then at 4. Kansas and Oklahoma.
And talking about Kansas, Cliff Alexander's situation, what's going to come of that over the next couple of days. Short-handed now underneath. Perry Ellis, he got hurt the other night against West Virginia. Oklahoma and Lon Kruger's team trying to hit their stride into the Big 12 tournament.
Qualls tracked it down. Here's Williams, bounce pass. He was looking for Kingsley. We'll stay with 13 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
The execution, the floor spacing, not as crisp as we saw early in this game for Arkansas.
Williams didn't hesitate, didn't have it lined up. Thornwell now denied that time, but counting.
Remember, the lead was above 20. Look where it's at now.
Good job chipping away by South Carolina.
And these fans that are here are on their feet because their team is playing with the emotion and the passion that's necessary. They came out flat, and now they're starting to execute. If you limit Arkansas's ability to get deflections and steals, you take away a good portion of their opportunity to score.
A 13-2 run by South Carolina over the last 4 minutes. And Stroman picks up his first. And he'll take a seat, shooting 1-1.
Qualls try to take over against Kentucky at 17 points. Did not shoot the ball excessively well from the field, though. Just 4 of 11 against Kentucky on Saturday. So
averages over 15 a game.
And trying to maybe do a little bit too much in Lexington.
Came in tonight just 33 points shy of being a 1,000-point scorer.
Deliberate offensive approach for South Carolina.
Long rebound. Here come the Hogs again. And the follow by Portis. Johnson cleans that up.
How about the effort by Johnson? He shot the original shot. They were battling for the rebound. He got his hands in there, able to corral it, and then try to finish. And now Arkansas can hold for the final shot. They were in complete control of this game, Test, for a majority of the first half, but the final 5 minutes, South Carolina found itself a rhythm. They need to come back out of the locker room after the half with that same kind of rhythm.
And with 1.1 left in the half, and there's the whistle underneath.
And Portis will go to the free throw line, and what a first half Portis has had. 15 points, 6 of 9 shooting.
One and one at the line for Portis. So Portis with 15, Qualls with 10. Largest lead was 20. Right now, it's 11. Arkansas trying to secure number 2 in the SEC tournament. As we send it to Chris Cotter and Jeff Goodman and the Land Rover halftime report.
Thank you, Tess. Land Rover at half.
First half this year. Joe and Sean with you. Bobby Portis and Qualls. They did it again. Portis 6 of 9 shooting. Qualls 4 of 9. As Arkansas was in rhythm, Sean.
Well, Arkansas was in rhythm, and it's all predicated upon their defensive abilities. 11 deflections in the first half, 9 overall steals. They were very, very active. And you mentioned it, Portis. They just played Ric Flair's music here in the arena. To be the man, you have to beat the man. And the man this year for Arkansas, without question, is Bobby Portis. He sets the table up for his teammates. He sets the tone at the offensive end of the floor because of his ability to score the basketball. You have to respect him, and therefore it opens up floor spacing and allow his teammates to have success even when he's not touching the ball in the half court. Michael Qualls has made his impact. A lot of that production on points has come off of steals where he has shot the gap in the passing lane and been able to finish.
You know, I would tag that Ric Flair comment by saying you were such a big pro wrestling fan as a kid, but that would be incorrect because you still are.
Well, I was interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund. I was the then WWF Fan of the Week when I was like 9. That is a great graphic. You see the turnovers forced in the last 6-15. Arkansas's defense didn't dictate tempo, and that's why South Carolina was able to tighten this thing up, and they come right back
start
out.
to the second half, and Sindarius Thornwell didn't hesitate at all.
Well, they need to get him going offensively as far as scoring the basketball. 2 of 4 shooting in the first half.
That's 2 on Qualls.
He had 16 in the first meeting against Arkansas.
Three-point play to cut it here to 8. Remember, largest lead was 20. And Carrera with the rebound off the Qualls miss.
So much of this game will come down to South Carolina's ability to control the ball without turning it over.
And there's a turnover there right into the hands of Madden. Beard from the corner. Portis weak side rebound. Backs in against Carrera. Walls underneath. And possession will be with the Hogs.
And a good no call, by the way, by the officials, as Carrera has taken some drama and acting classes here at South Carolina. Try to flop on that one. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Tough matchup against the big-bodied Portis.
I think you've got to get something going towards the rim, though, for Arkansas. Don't just settle for perimeter jump shots. You settle for perimeter jump shots. I know they were falling early. You start playing in the hands of South Carolina.
Not when you got such an advantage. Qualls baseline. Carrera underneath. Lead is down to 6. What a comeback from the home team. Qualls looking to get that up to Madden. And denied that time by Hakevicius. Shot clock. And this place is rocking now.
It was great defense by South Carolina. They reacted. They were active. They made the hustle plays, and Bobby Portis didn't have any elevation on that shot attempt.
Sometimes the worst thing that can happen is to score a first-round knockdown. Arkansas looks like a team that was satisfied and content with where that lead was. But Carolina has fought back. Qualls comes up with it.
See, that is a poor shot attempt that time for Arkansas. That is a forced look in transition, and that's frustration from the standpoint of having to consistently play in the half-court defense, as the transition D of South Carolina has been so strong.
They're going to get Portis here. That's his first. Kachinis will check in, and Carrera will take a seat for the Gamecocks.
Since Coach Martin called his second timeout, they have been outscoring Arkansas by 8 points over a 10-minute stretch.
Kevich has had a look.
They continue to whittle down this lead. Sometimes also Arkansas tends to get away from the hot hand. The hot hand in this game, as it's been all season long, has been Bobby Portis. You got to find a way to get him involved.
Madden does it on his own. That's 7 for Rashad Madden.
Very deliberate in the offense for the Gamecocks.
Notice brings it home. The lead is 5 for Arkansas. And a chance to cut into it even more. And the foul. A 20-point lead. Whittling away. Dwayne Notice. Big time Farnham.
Dwayne Notice putting Arkansas on notice. The Gamecocks, they're here to play.
Suns Nets at 8. Mavs Warriors at 10:30 tomorrow on ESPN.
Chase Freedom. The card is for the essentials. The cash back is for the fun. Chase, so you can.
For life's bleachable moments.
Fab Five Freddy told me everybody's fly. DJ spinning, I said, my, flash is fast, flash is cool, Francois, c'est pas, flash J no do, and you don't stop. Sure shot, go out.
We can hear her.
Oh, yeah. And you get in your car and you drive real far and you drive all night and then you see a light and it comes right down and lands on the ground and out comes a man.
The 273 horsepower RDX from Acura.
Thanks for this Oreo caramel shake, Kara.
Can't believe you ordered all these shakes.
Yeah.
And how do you know her name?
Oh, I kind of have nicknames for everybody based upon my order.
Caramel, Kara. Yeah.
Holly for jalapeno chocolate.
That's
and
great.
Janine for peanut butter.
Why Janine for peanut butter?
Because she reminds me of my ex-girlfriend Janine, who was nuts.
She was crazy.
25 hand-mixed real ice cream shakes, all half price after 8 p.m. This is how you Sonic.
Steadily, they've gotten after that lead. South Carolina has chipped into that 20-point margin, working their way back to potentially pull within one here with Notice at the line.
Well, and Tess, to me, it's the 12 of 19 from the field since that timeout came with the 9:24 mark remaining in the first half. They shot 63% against Arkansas.
Keep in mind, they come in tonight as the SEC's worst shooting team. But Notice a three-pointer moments ago.
He's improved all season long, plus 3 field goals attempts over what he was a year ago. He's plus over 3 points per game than he was a year ago. Much more active, much more aggressive, and Frank Martin wants these fans on their feet for this team. And after trailing by 20, they deserve it. They fought back into this one.
Rawls went up strong and drew the foul. Boy, can he get up.
Elevate up over the top, and contact made to the wrist will send him to the free throw line.
2 in Kaichenis.
I think that's much more of what I want to see out of Arkansas here in the second half. Aggressively attacking, not settling for the perimeter shot. They were 10 of 15 inside the paint in the first half. That kind of efficiency is what gained them the lead.
4 for 4 from the stripe for Qualls tonight. He has 12.
And Tess, the importance of making baskets and scoring is it allows you to set up your press. And this is where, again, Arkansas can turn you over, create tempo. Credit South Carolina. They've made the adjustment offensively. They're playing with much better poise and composure here. Surprise notice didn't take that one.
Johnson creating a shot. Good effort that time by Carrera. And Johnson wanted a little glory, but he'll get himself to the line.
And the senior was trying to elevate up and ended up knocking down one of the photographers sitting on the floor.
Madden's third foul.
You mentioned Johnson's game, 28 points against Mississippi State. 13 of 15 from the free throw line in that game.
That was his third career 20-point game. .52% shooting tonight for the Gamecocks. Well above their season average.
And they bring it back to one. This is how competitive the SEC's been primarily all season long. And it's why when we get to Nashville next week, there's going to be a lot of exciting basketball being played. And 6 teams, according to Joe Lunardi, still in the NCAA tournament. I think 2 of them still have some work to do.
Went right through the legs of Williams. And denied that time as Thornwell was looking to close in on that rim. Chance to take the lead for South Carolina. Thornwell. And Carrera in the right place at the right time, and the lead is theirs. Three fouls now on Ja'Cory Williams. Remember, Arkansas trying to secure number 2 in the SEC tournament. South Carolina looking to stay perfect against the Hogs here at Colonial Life Arena.
What a tip in by Carrera on that last possession. Spread out the defense. Make sure they have proper spacing, try to cut and move, and that time improper balance.
And Portis finishes and will go to the line.
You give up the lead, and you've got to find that man right there. Bobby Portis running the floor. He's your best offense. It's a little bit too much on the pass. It allows Arkansas to get a run out and not have to go against South Carolina in the half court. And Portis able to finish.
And Douglas Kaichinis, his third. Portis working on a big night. He now has 18. He had 18 and 13 rebounds against South Carolina back in February.
10 double-doubles, 8 of which have come in conference play. A little bit too aggressive that time defensively for Arkansas. And already 16 fouls
now for Arkansas.
Yeah, the next one will put them in the bonus test, and we've still got over 13 minutes here.
As it was Bell who got his second. With over 6 minutes to play in the first half, they trailed by 20. But they have stormed back. That'll not count. On the floor as Johnson made his move.
And now that'll be the 7th foul, so it'll be...
They're in the bonus.
1-1 the rest of the way in this game. So if you're South Carolina, why settle for a perimeter jump shot down the stretch of this game? I wouldn't. I continue to be aggressive. I continue to attack and try to draw contact. And the senior steps to the free throw line and knocks down the first.
Honor pregame for senior night. Started his career at Villanova. Looking to have a memorable finish at home here against the Hogs. And another turnover.
That crisp execution that we saw for the first 15 minutes of this game has been gone. It's been lost for Arkansas.
11 turnovers for the Hogs.
The last 12 minutes plus have been dominated by South Carolina.
Kuchinis as he gets it in. And Hakevicius, the fellow Lithuanian, able to give Carolina a 2-point lead.
It's just a great job feeling where the defense is, spinning off and going away from the potential shot blockers.
It is loud here in Columbia. They have come all the way back. Kuchinis. And all of a sudden they lead by 5. The largest lead of the night. And Arkansas is going to call timeout. Mike Anderson wants to gather the troops.
Now you need to gather them because the team has lost their way while South Carolina continues to feel itself out offensively. Understanding what they're willing to give up defensively, they found their rhythm, and the Gamecocks have the lead.
Chase Freedom. The card is for the essentials. The cash back is for the fun. Chase, so you can.
New TLX from Acura.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the TLX.
This is not just any turkey, because this turkey is 100% whole turkey breast. And this breast isn't on just any Rachel. It's on an Arby's Rachel sandwich. Arby's, we have the meat.
Dad, like, how many more weeks are you going to be using my car?
Until my insurance claim goes through, this is our car.
Mr. Parker, my parents have...
Allstate.
They have this...
Claim satisfaction guarantee.
Really?
Their claim experience is...
fast, fair, and hassle-free.
Or they get their, like, money back.
Sarah! Come to
What's wrong with me?
No.
Hey, Mr. Parker.
Claim satisfaction guarantee. Just another way Allstate is changing car insurance for good.
The Constant Contact Toolkit comes with all the online marketing tools you need, like email newsletters and event invites. So whether you run a small business or a nonprofit, you can connect with, well, everyone. Try it free at ConstantContact.com.
South Carolina executing, and let's check out tonight's Reese's perfect play. It's the two-man game, and it's Hakevicius underneath with the finish, and then the very next possession. Understand they got to honor the post. It's an excellent job spotting up by Kaichitis on the outside to knock down the three. And South Carolina has found itself in a great rhythm offensively, and look at the numbers in the second half in particular. 23-7 to start here.
Sean, South Carolina in the second half, a 7 of 12 shooting, 3 for 4 on threes. Meanwhile, Arkansas just 2 of 11 from the floor, 0 for 5 on three-pointers.
They shoot 18% on the road for a 20-minute period of time. You're going to probably lose a game. Arkansas's got plenty of time, but they need to start getting back to being aggressive. They're settling for the perimeter jump shot. The tempo and the flow of this game has been dictated by South Carolina's defense, not necessarily even their offense. They're forcing Arkansas to limit their number of looks in transition. There's been no runouts here.
Qualls baseline. Batted away.
And Qualls is trying to do a little bit too much on that one. And see what happens is when you have misses, then again it allows South Carolina. They're playing with poise. They're not turning the ball over. They're going against the zone defense now of Arkansas. Moving the ball from side to side.
Thornwell nearly lost the handle. And that was tapped out. It'll be Arkansas, but South Carolina, a 7-0 run, a 5-point lead, just over 10 and a half to play for Frank Martin's team.
How you doing, buddy? Portland. What are you doing out here in San Francisco? Let's get you back home, huh? Hi, I brought your dog back.
Oh, they just moved to San Francisco last week.
San Francisco.
The Jetta TDI Clean Diesel with up to 667 highway miles per tank. Hurry in and you can get a $1,000 Volkswagen credit bonus on a 2015 Jetta TDI Clean Diesel. Visit VW.com today.
As hard as these two programs have battled on the court, they respect each other off the court.
This game is like no other for a player and a coach.
Okafor, count it, and a foul. And Tokeno gives Carolina its first lead of the night.
They're going to need to bring some fight if you want to win this game.
Tyus Jones, 2 more for the freshman. And Duke wins in overtime.
What a game.
Duke, North Carolina, the rematch, Saturday at 9 on ESPN.
Hey, guess what day it is?
Hump day!
Hump day! It's hump day!
Hey, Mike! Mike!
Mike!
Guess what day it is? Hey, Camel! Guess what day it is?
It's not even Wednesday.
Let it go, Phil. If you're a camel, you put up with this all the time. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Okay.
First murder this town has ever seen.
Welcome to Cut Bank, Montana.
They murdered the mailman.
All I need is to see the mailman's dead body, and we are set.
I'm on to you. Of all the places you can point a camera, you point it at a money-making crime.
Me and Miss Cutbank will do whatever it takes. Who's that?
Cutbank, now playing exclusively on DirecTV Cinema.
Chris Cotter back in Bristol. Here's what's happening with Wisconsin at Minnesota over on ESPN. Frank Kaminsky gives it up. Nice pass from Josh Gosser. Gets it back to him. Kaminsky has 21-6-6 right now. It's an 11-point lead for Wisconsin. Meanwhile, Temple on the bubble and on the road, up 10 at East Carolina over on ESPNU. Meanwhile, coming up next on ESPN2, Ryan Boatwright. Can he lead UConn to an American tournament win? Got to take care of business against Memphis tonight. They'll tip in about 30 minutes time. Joe?
All right, Chris, speaking of on the bubble, couple of SEC teams. Lenardi says right now it'd be 10 seeds, A&M and LSU. LSU didn't serve themselves well last night at home. Of course, Arkansas is slotted as a 5 right now. You know, they got the resume as one of 8 teams with 3 top 50 RPI road wins. Here on the road tonight, they got to get things done in these final 10.5 minutes.
Well, and you look at the numbers, and you can clearly see how everything has flipped here. And it's flipped mainly based on South Carolina's ability to not turn over the ball and eliminate the opportunity for Arkansas to get up and down the floor in transition. Also, I just want to make sure that we clarify this. The 2 seed has already been clinched by Arkansas due to tiebreaker scenarios. The league at the conference office has tried to break it all down. They figured out there is no way that they're not the 2 seed.
Do you have a ladder that I can climb right now, Farnham?
Can somebody get Mr. Tessitore a ladder?
At least a step stool. My, oh my, Michael Qualls.
Oh, that's a way to kind of energize the team. See if it carries over to the defensive end right now for Arkansas. Oh, good.
I may have to excuse myself, Farnham. I mean, Qualls is unreal at times.
You know what his Twitter handle is? Mr. Walking on Air.
Yeah, he walks on it. Johnson able to gather it. Shot clock running down. Tipped out. Chased down. Carolina maintains possession. And able to finish that time. Hakevicius.
Wasn't necessarily as pretty as the basket at this end. But that one certainly worked just as effective.
Still a 5-point lead for South Carolina. Long rebound into the hands of Stroman. And he finishes. And their largest lead of the night now at 7. Remember, they trailed by 20. Inside, Harris, Portis, and he was tied up that time by Kaichenis. You know, Qualls has been a Sports Center top 10 12 times in his career. He may be making it 13. He is something special.
At Mr. Walking on Air, just walked on air to finish that one. Over the top, one hand, gather it and finish. He is fun to watch. But right now, it can't just be about having fun. It has to be about executing and getting stops. South Carolina continues to execute at the offensive end of the floor. Highlights are great. Substance is better. And the substance right now has been with South Carolina this entire second half. Portis misses them both.
Yeah, but standing there was Madden. And Portis taps it back to Harris. But coming up with it was Johnson. And now Carolina with an opportunity.
And every photographer along that end line has to watch out because Johnson just took out another one.
High energy pace here in this second half. That's 2 on Beard.
Listen, to me, the team that's pushing tempo, the team that's now creating offense off their defense is South Carolina. And they're the more aggressive team. They're the one that has already picked up 8 personal fouls on their opponent here in the second half.
All qualities usually applied to Arkansas.
And now the clock will stop. Carolina gets an opportunity to extend out this lead.
As Johnson hits the first. What do we got with the journey to the tourney presented by Sonic?
That's going to be an outstanding matchup between the 11 straight Big 12 regular season champion Kansas taking on Oklahoma Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern. The journey to the tourney, spotlighting games that have significant bearing in the final 10 days of this season before we get to Selection Sunday. And you talk about Oklahoma. I love Buddy Hield. I love what Long Kruger's been able to do. But Isaiah Cousins, to me, is the guy that really gets the motor running for the Sooners.
You working a game on Saturday, Farnham?
I'm working the television remote control on Saturday.
That's what I figured. You're going to be glued, and that's a big part of your Saturday plans.
Opportunity, calm before the storm. I'll be in Las Vegas for the WCC title game on Tuesday, and then in Nashville for the SEC tournament.
Well, you're going to be a busy one, as is the case with Madden. Getting busy there to cut it to 7. Timeout called by Coach Martin. You know, I love the conversation we had with Frank Martin earlier today about this time of the season, the way he approaches it. And he said, I just keep teaching. The later in the year it gets, the more I teach. He says that's what gets kids' attention when they know you're trying to help them.
And you know, for Coach Martin, we see a lot of this fiery passion and excitement. But I've also been around Coach Martin in those moments when the cameras aren't on him, where he sees opponents that walk in the gym and he puts his arm around them and says, hey, you know what, you've been playing great lately, and crediting the opponent that they're going to face. Put his arms around his kids.
And how about the timeout he called in the first half when he's able to settle things in and that run that Carolina's gone on.
And think about this, the first half, Bobby Portis had 16 points. He has only 2 so far here in the second half.
7-point lead after trailing by 20. Carrera, he figured out a way to get up and over and around Portis. Well above his season average. 14 points for Carrera. And Qualls elevating, hanging, and earning a trip to the line.
Well, South Carolina continues to execute. Carrera being strong and physical underneath. It's been that way the entire second half. A 9-point lead for South Carolina.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Viagra.
Right now at Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. No, wait, is that really right?
Yep, it says it right there. $1.49, 10 nuggets, limited time only.
All right. They're crispy and golden on the outside, made with white meat on the inside. Get more your way, only at Burger King.
How you doing, buddy? Portland? What are you doing out here in San Francisco? Let's get you back home, huh?
Hi, I brought your dog back.
Oh, they just moved to San Francisco last week.
San Francisco.
The Jetta TDI Clean Diesel with up to 667 highway miles per tank. Hurry in and you can get a $1,000 Volkswagen credit bonus on a 2015 Jetta TDI Clean Diesel. Visit VW.com today.
I typed my name, and Ancestry opened the door to the world's largest online collection of family history records. Discover your story today at Ancestry.com.
Just a good old boy. We still got it, cousin. We still got it. I'm not so sure about our old friend here, though. Police cars just a lot faster than they used to be. That's why I'm on Auto Trader. Whoa, look out! We sure could use one of them backup cameras right about now. Wow, Auto Trader lets you search for Bluetooth, traction control, trying to make sure the door's open. I think they all do. Really? Hang on.
Will Auto Trader find our boys what they need? Stay tuned for more from the new Auto Trader. Find your car your way.
Chris Cotter in studio. Temple on the bubble at East Carolina. Obi Onechionia. Obi. Not Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not Ben Kenobi. Obi Onechionia. Putting Temple up 7 right now. They're in a dogfight, though. Old Dominion also on the bubble, tied with Marshall. Let's show you the bubble, according to Joe Lenardi. Here's bracketology at the start of the night. There you have it. Temple, last 4 in. Old Dominion, next 4 out. Back to Joe Tess and Farney, guys.
Chris, a 31-11 scoring edge here in the second half for South Carolina, 9-point margin. Mindaugas Kachinas just picked up his 4th moments ago.
Well, Tess, look, there's 7:38 left to go, 9-point game. You kind of feel like, all right, still plenty of time for Arkansas to regain their swagger, but not with the way that Frank Martin's team has been able to execute here in the second half and even the last 5 minutes of the first half. It was really about stealing momentum going into the locker room. And as you mentioned, a great analogy by you, a first-round knockdown doesn't win you the fight.
Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you. And Arkansas being up by 20. Boy, did they get Carolina right on the chin. But they got up off the canvas, and they have fought back.
You get knocked down, you get up again.
Sometimes. Qualls at the line here. Carrera secures it. South Carolina shooting 53.5%. It's a season high in an SEC game for them this year.
Again, South Carolina's in the bonus. Keep attacking the paint just like that.
That's what Notice does. He's had some big moments here tonight.
And he started playing some of his best basketball the entire season now over the last 5 games.
They have pushed it to 11. Notice has 16 second-half points. Excuse me, 9 second-half points. $16 on the night for Notice. Had that big 3 to close the lead to 1 and the foul.
The South Carolina team, we go back to the non-conference. A great heady play on his back. Calls a timeout, secures the possession. But people forget about what South Carolina did in December when they beat Oklahoma State by 26. They beat Iowa State by 4 on a neutral floor. They're playing with that confidence here in the second half.
Farnham, have you been enjoying the Sports Center featured segments? There's
no doubt.
Another great one coming up.
You know, I've always wanted to be a superhero, and this Sunday we're featuring one. Cape Crusaders emerged in Seattle. His name is Phoenix Jones. Hear the story behind the MMA fighter who turned to crime fighter. SC Featured presents Phoenix Rising, 11 a.m. on Sports Center. If you could be any superhero, Joe Tessitore,
yes,
who would you be?
Well, that's a tough call. Definitely a Hall of Justice guy. Victory for the people, Farnham. I'm going to go with Green Hornet.
I like that. That works for me.
What do you got?
I'm more like the great American hero. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Did you just go with an ABC sitcom from the early 80s?
I did.
Superhero?
I did. But it was one of my favorite shows growing up.
A guy with a success perm wearing leotards circa 1983.
And he'd crash everywhere. He'd try to take off and fly, and he would just fall down.
I got a game to broadcast. You're telling me here.
Have some hot tea. Relax for a second. That's not a good turnover.
Here comes Williams as they will reset.
One thing to watch, South Carolina only has 1 timeout remaining with 6 minutes left to go. If this game gets tight down the stretch, Frank Martin will not be able to call timeout.
As Qualls came through the line. And he drew the foul. As that is 4 on Carrera.
You know, Carrera fell down and he called timeout, which was a great play. And then he turns it over carelessly at this end of the floor, so it kind of negates the opportunity to call that timeout to secure the possession.
And bounce goes their way for 3. Lead is 8. As Bell has 12. Oh, that would have been something. Rattled out. Rebound to Kachinas.
I don't like that shot for Williams. He was drifting. You got to be able to stop, get your feet set, go straight up, straight down.
Another turnover. Oh, no, he's able to secure it back from Portis. And the possession arrow stays this way.
Better aggressiveness defensively for Arkansas, starting to get their hands back on the basketball. Remember, they had 11 deflections in the first half. They've only had 2 deflections here in the second half. Coach Anderson told me today at shoot-around, Tess, that ideally they'd like to get around 40 deflections during the course of a game. They are far below that number.
That's what revs the engine for Mike Anderson's team. Under 5 minutes to play, and that 8-point margin for South Carolina. As they were able to get it into Lekevicius, and Portis picks up his second. Limonis Lekevicius at the line. He's one of the most improved players in the program through the years he's put in here in Columbia.
When you think about the fact that the last 2 games he's played some of his best basketball he's played in his entire career.
Back-to-back games, hitting his career high of 18 points.
9 rebounds. Those numbers a little bit down in this game, although his impact here in the second half has been pretty large. He's maintained his post position. He has made life difficult for Bobby Portis at the defensive end of the floor.
Qualls jumper.
A good rhythm step in that time by Qualls.
Qualls has 20.
And the lead is 6 for South Carolina.
Able to finish that time. Lekevicius.
You can't trade baskets if you're Arkansas. South Carolina, they don't want to trade baskets, but they'll certainly take it.
Bell does it again. 5 3-pointers for Bell. Arkansas trying to climb back in against South Carolina.
Well, if you're Coach Anderson right now, you're talking to your team about not trading baskets. You hit the 3, feel good about it, but it comes down to getting stops, and that's what Arkansas needs.
Ready to get to work?
Yeah. Money, money, money.
How did you do that?
It's one of the many wonderful things about being me.
Focus. Rated R.
Dave & Buster's is the only place on the planet with new food, new drinks, and the hottest games like the all-new Star Wars Battle Pod. Hurry in to the only place to play it and play one of these 3 games free. Dave & Buster's.
Thanks for inviting me to come fishing.
Thank Mary.
Speaking of Mary, there's something I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, we still got 11 hours till we stop.
So your daughter and I have been together.
Feel that 236-pound feed-up toy.
I have to ask you something.
I think I know what it is. 44 highway miles per gallon.
The Volkswagen Passat TDI Clean Diesel with up to 814 highway miles per tank. Hurry in and you can get a $1,000 Volkswagen credit bonus on a 2015 Passat TDI Clean Diesel. Visit VW.com today.
Chase Freedom. The card is for the essentials. The cash back is for the fun. Chase, so you can.
I love walking on that clubhouse. That's the gold standard in this sport.
The aura of it, Bobby Jones, the whole thing is just something that's very, very special.
Now that I'm able to go in the champions locker room, it's a feeling of prestige to be part of the club of Masters champions.
No matter how many times you played it, you get goosebumps, you get pumped up, you get excited.
Chris Cotter back in Bristol, setting the table for the rest of the night on ESPN Networks. Coming up next on ESPN, it's Stanley Johnson, one of the top freshmen in the country, getting set to take on Cal. They'll tip in about 13 minutes. Also, big game in the A-10 here late in the season. Trevion Graham and VCU. The Rams have lost 2 straight at Davidson, who's on the bubble. That game over on ESPNU. And then coming up next here on ESPN2, it's Shaq Goodwin in Memphis, taking on UConn in Stores. So plenty of basketball still to come here, Joe Tess.
Including the last 3:53 here, Chris, with South Carolina with a 5-point lead. Arkansas just shooting 30% in the second half. Portis only 3 second-half points.
Now that's changed down the stretch here. It all starts with the defense end of the floor. As we're going to break, that's what I'm talking about for Arkansas. They need to get stops.
Portis had 15 in the first half.
It's going to send him to the free throw line.
As Johnson,
just not a smart play,
came around against Bell.
The transition game so important for Arkansas. Look at the transition points tonight. South Carolina having the distinct advantage. And that's been the difference in this game. We talked about predicating allowing your defense to set up your offense. South Carolina's done a nice job of that in the second half in particular.
Johnson at the line. He is 18. South Carolina shooting 54% for the game, 60% in the second half, 60% on threes in the second half.
A missed opportunity to extend out the lead at the free throw line. You've got to be able to convert in these moments, especially when you're an 85% free throw shooter.
Not the trip he's looking for at all.
Paging Bobby Portis.
See if they can find him. Madden back rimmed it. Lekevicius came up with it.
The first
coming under 3 minutes and a 5-point lead.
There's various ways to get him the ball. Instead of just hiding him underneath, they run a couple offensive sets in the first half where he picked and popped and was wide open from the mid-range jump shot area. We have not seen that since the first 2 minutes of this contest.
Here is Portis. Fell on the follow.
Oh.
And you can see Ty Johnson reaching for his leg.
And Michael Qualls a little shaken up as well on the weak side. And that was that possession that I was talking about, though, with getting Portis isolated. And sometimes it doesn't have to come with his back to the basket. It allows you to step out to that mid-range jump shot, clears out the space in the paint.
They work on Johnson. This is earlier tonight, and it was already becoming an issue. And then moments ago, he went down at the end of this play.
He actually fell into Michael Qualls' knee, and it happens to be the knee that was already banged up. As you can see him immediately going, the pain, and you start cramping like that, it can be very painful.
And for Anthlon Bell, that was his first 2 after 5 threes.
And just a 3-point game now. Remember the missed free throws. Johnson had back-to-back missed free throws at this end of the floor. You have to remember those opportunities when you can manufacture points, create offense for yourself at the free throw line. And if Johnson's out for any period of time right now, this is not where you want him on the sideline.
Of course, he was honored. We told you before the night started, senior night here from a young man from Plainfield, New Jersey.
Emotional with his family out on the court. His mom really enjoying the ceremony. You know, so much of senior night is about the player, but it's also about the family and the support base that you have around you that opened up the doors or gave you the opportunity to flourish in the sport. And he's had a great night tonight, and you certainly hope that he can get back out on the floor here in the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Strowman dealing with the pressure.
Good job collapsing defensively. Mismatch. They left the interior presence that time for South Carolina as they both ran out to the wing, and they missed him.
Shot clock at 4. And Portis cuts that lead to 1.
You need him involved. So with Johnson out of the game, you lose one of your best ball handlers.
Chance to take the lead here. And Qualls gives it to him.
How about Arkansas and their execution? A 9-0 run.
Back and forth they've gone. And a final timeout called by South Carolina. 1:12 remaining. Down 20. Then up 11. And now Arkansas retakes.
Well, it comes down again to defense. The ability to run off the glass, floor spacing. Portis fills the lane, able to finish. And just watch the way he trails the play, and the defense slow in reacting, moving over, able to finish. And then on the very next possession, it's a steal, it's a run out, get the ball in Michael Qualls' hands, the athleticism to hang in the air and finish off the glass.
Just to keep his balance when he took that awkward step and then cut back towards the 10.
Not every game is going to be pretty. Not every game are you going to be able to come out and dominate and carry it through for a full 40 minutes. Arkansas got out in front, and then they relinquished the lead. And now they have charged their way back to have a 1-point lead here on the road in conference play.
Arkansas now 29 points off of 21 South Carolina turnovers.
A good one coming up later on tonight. Cal, Arizona. Arizona looking to try to sneak in and get a 1 seed, depending upon what happens around the landscape of college basketball. Certainly in the mix of a 2.
Saw them continuing to work on Ty Johnson as he left the game moments ago, and Arkansas went on this run.
And the big concern is, and you hate to see this for a senior, in his final home game, to go to the bench and then watch his team relinquish the lead as he's cramping up. Yeah, and
you want a chance to control things on your own.
And especially when you can control the ball and have the poise that he has shown all night long against the pressure of Arkansas. He goes to the bench, and all of a sudden it's 2 possessions offensively where South Carolina deviates from what has allowed them to have success.
He's playing some of his best basketball. 18 tonight at 28 in this past Saturday's win against Mississippi State. Carolina inbounding, trailing by 1. Just over a minute to play.
And they try to get the ball in Notice's hands and see if you could free him up. He's been your best offensive weapon who's out on the floor right now.
Here's Thornwell to the corner. Good rebound by Thornwell, but denied by Portis. And here come the Hogs.
Yeah, you can play with composure here.
And a timeout used by Mike Anderson as Portis came up big defensively.
Well, you're just trying to do a little bit too much if you're Thornwell on that possession. And defensively, they swarm and collapse. It was a 3-point shot. You get the offensive rebound. You're in amongst the trees. Where are you going? You're going away from the basket. You're not going into the contact. You're not drawing the foul. And that's allowed Arkansas to move out.
Let's check in with the studio and Chris.
All right, Tess. Ryan Boatwright getting set to crank things up for UConn. Can he pull a Shabazz Napier, lead UConn into the NCAA tournament? Might have to win the American next week, but they'll start tonight against Memphis. 4 minutes from tip from Stores. Guys?
Joe Tessitore and Sean Farnham with you here in Columbia, South Carolina. Gamecocks now 3.5 minutes of scoring drought as Arkansas retakes the lead 74-73. They were up 20. Carolina roared back to be up 11. And then Qualls and Portis surged ahead.
You see the points off of turnovers, the most that South Carolina has allowed in the last 4 seasons. Of course, remember in the SEC tournament a year ago, it was South Carolina that beat Arkansas and likely kept them out of the NCAA tournament. That's not going to be an issue this year. Arkansas is a lock for the field. But they certainly want to improve their standing, and a win here on the road gives them a little bit more momentum heading into that battle against LSU in Fayetteville on Saturday.
As Ty Johnson, you saw just a concerned observer at this point.
You can be very patient here if you're Arkansas.
16-second gap between shot and game here for this possession. Up 1. Qualls baseline, lost the handle for a moment, gets it out.
An offensive rebound by Bobby Portis.
Comes up big again.
Huge basket for Arkansas.
Portis was quiet for much of this second half.
No timeouts, so Frank Martin can't do anything.
Desperation. Thornwell fouled. The last thing you want to do in a spot like that.
Wow. A 3-point lead. Thornwell out of control. I don't even think he had his feet set underneath him. And besides the fact, I think that might be a 2.
They're going to check to see.
I think his right foot was on the line. We'll take another look at it, and we'll try to see from this angle.
This will be critical. Oh.
Yeah, his right foot is on the line. That is a 2-point shot, so he'll have 2 free throws with 2.6, which means you need
to break for Arkansas.
You need to make the first, and then you got to miss the second. Now, the good news is this, as they review this, Coach Frank Martin can set this all up. He can set up the whole scenario. All right, we got to make the first, and then here's what we're going to do. We want you to miss it this way. Try to miss it on this side of the rim. We're going to run our stunt action to try to get a tap out or a tip in, whatever you got to do in this situation with 2.6. And if you're Coach Anderson, you're talking about one thing: boxing out, finishing the possession, finishing this game off with a rebound. Arkansas dodges a bullet there, literally by a foot. The officials taking a look at it. Remember, they look at a different monitor than what we have, so they don't necessarily see the same thing, but you can clearly see his foot is on the line, and that'll be a two-shot foul. A lot of times, people question what takes so long for the officials. There's a couple things that they look at in this scenario. Is how much time should be on the clock? Do they need to adjust the clock? And then also, from the angles that they're seeing, which again is a different monitor than what we have here, the different angles that we're able to show you at home, to make sure that they definitively get the call right.
Tony Green, James Breeding, Joe DeRosa taking their time here to make sure they've got it. Clear to see on our look here. See that right foot of Thornwell.
And I think it's often one of those things that you have to understand, that the system that is used in-house is different again from what we have here. I'd love for them to come over and just look at our monitor, though, because they'd see it real quick that was a 2-shot foul.
And meanwhile, the game hangs in the balance. As the crowd here at Colonial Life Arena anxiously awaits, and they say shooting 2. So plenty of time to draw it up
now,
for Coach Martin.
And it all starts with a make here. You miss this one, now all of a sudden you've got to get a tap out for a three.
And there it is. Does his job on the front end.
And now you got to be aggressive going after it. Make sure you don't have a line violation coming from anyone outside or the shooter.
Into the hands of Qualls. And fouled with .7 remaining.
It was actually a beautiful miss in that scenario. It was
not
perfect.
often you get to say that, but it makes sense.
It was perfect to bounce over the top of the first box out underneath. The good push in, and probably a little bit too much of a push in. Otherwise, you could have corralled that and given yourself an opportunity. And remember, the foul doesn't mean 1-on-1 because that's only the 6th personal foul. What a crazy night here in Columbia, South Carolina. And partner, what a great year it's been working with you on the SEC.
Likewise, Farnham. Look forward to listening to you from Nashville.
And a great crew that we've had all season long that have traveled across the landscape of this conference. A conference that this year is so much more improved than it was a year ago. And a large portion of that is because of the depth that this conference has been able to show. Joe Lunardi currently has 6 teams in the field. And that means that over the next 10 days, we'll be watching to see LSU and A&M in particular. They've got work to do starting on Saturday. And a great matchup on ESPN between Arkansas and LSU.
LSU could use a bounce back. South Carolina had a great bounce back in the middle of this game. They trailed by 20. They were up by 11 with 7:20 to play.
And they call an intentional foul away from the ball.
That was Steele.
Steele just wrapped
against
up
Portis.
and hugged Portis.
Portis came up big when they needed him.
And Portis was huge in the first half. And in the second half, he showed up late. He now has 23 on the night.
And 9 points in the second half. And it was Portis and Qualls who had those quick 6 to give them that 3-point margin.
Well, and remember, you feel really bad for Frank Martin in South Carolina with Ty Johnson being on the bench. They had the lead. He started cramping up. He goes to the sideline, and the offense fell apart. And the senior on senior night can only bury his head in his towel right now at the end of the bench.
24 for Portis, 18 for Qualls. 6th time they've combined for over 40 for Arkansas as they win at 78-74. Memphis, UConn is next with Mike Patrick and Lemma Elmore. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.